On April 3rd, 2022, the Miami police received a chilling call.
I can't feel my arm. I can't feel my arm. Oh, my boyfriend is dying of a gas. Ma'am, what is the address? 130 Northeast 7 times. Baby, I'm so sorry.
Christian Toby Obumseli, 27, lay dying on his girlfriend's lap, bleeding from a fatal stab wound to his chest. When Miami police arrived, the apartment was covered in blood, and Toby was barely alive. This tragic moment marked the dark end of a turbulent relationship between OnlyFans model Courtney Clenney and Toby, who had met in 2020. Despite appearing deeply in love, their relationship was plagued by violent arguments, often involving police intervention. The most explosive and deadly fight occurred in April 2022, leaving Toby pleading for his life. Courtney denied involvement, but police were skeptical. She was taken in for an intense 5-hour interrogation.
Covered in blood.
Listen, you don't have to apologize, okay? I completely understand. Alright? Things happen, you can't control it. Okay? How long have you guys been together?
About 2 years.
About 2
A
years?
year and a half to 2 years, yeah. Is he okay?
He's still at the hospital. They're still,
I know.
monitoring him and talking to him. So we're waiting.
Oh my God! So he didn't even have to have surgery.
Well, I don't know. They're still doing X-rays and stuff like that. So I don't know yet. I'm waiting to hear a response.
That's all I have to know. Thank
Okay.
God.
Detectives often have no idea how a suspect might react to certain information, so it's usually safest to start by easing any concerns the suspect may have and speaking in a non-accusatory manner. This approach helps the suspect feel more at ease and increases the likelihood of them opening up.
I had just gotten back together. I had broken up with him, and then he came back the last 2 nights, and then started into an argument, and I ended up getting scared, and I think that I overreacted, or not overreacted necessarily, but reacted, and I just know exactly what might happen.
Do you guys work here in Miami, or do you guys have your own business?
I do social media, so I'm an influencer, I guess is what
Oh yeah.
call it, yeah, so I'm an influencer.
What do you focus on, like Instagram or social media?
Instagram, LinkedIn,
And what is it that he does?
stocks and crypto.
Stocks and crypto.
He just has stocks and stuff and crypto. We were gonna move into a house, so have an apartment, and then we were like, maybe just move right here. And then once we got here, we were like, no, this is dope.
Yeah.
So we have the dog picked out. It's a golden retriever. We're gonna name him Mellow. So we're gonna get the house so we can have a backyard. Because I have 2 dogs, and then we're gonna have 3. So we're planning on staying here for a while. Sorry.
Once again, you don't have to apologize.
Detectives noted Courtney's vulnerable state, but remained focused on uncovering the truth. She was under investigation for allegedly stabbing Toby, with her only explanation so far being that an argument spiraled out of control. If Courtney was indeed guilty, reflecting on her past and the future she had envisioned with Toby might push her into emotional turmoil, leaving her even more fragile and potentially leading to an easier confession.
Start from the start. You guys were supposed to take out your dogs to the park, right? And then what happened after that?
Like I said, a little bit blur. I was doing laundry and tried to call my mom. She didn't answer the first time. And then he left. I guess he went to go bike over there. That's just what he said. I don't know if he walked or biked, but he told me if you're a biker.
Yeah, the bicycle?
Yeah. And then he came back with a Subway sandwich, and I said something about oh, are you gonna reshare your location with me? Did you unshare it? And he said, yeah, I unshared it. And I was like, oh, when did you do that? And he goes, the other day, when you were done with me. And I was like, okay, well, fair enough. like reshare it. And then he told, I mean, it kind of like turned into like a little like argument or something. And then he told me to reshare mine, and I was like, okay, yeah, I will. And then I didn't do it immediately. He asked me about it again, and I don't know what I was thinking, but it just said something about, well, what if I'm somewhere you don't want me to be? Which I wouldn't have been. I love him, but maybe you don't want to know where I am. I guess maybe they'll just like hurt him because he was pressing me, and he ended up pinning me against the wall. I mean, I said like choking me on the floor. It's just like they were looking at my neck, and I was like, I mean, I'm not saying like choking me like, you know, whatever, but I mean, he had my like neck, like and this happened twice before, where I couldn't breathe and I was on the floor. I could not breathe, and I don't think that he is trying to kill me, but I was scared, and all 3 times I have been scared. I'm on the floor. And have you been? Get my mom on the phone. So this happened like over by the door, and somehow moved like over into the living room. He was standing by the couch, kissing for the kitchen, and I was in the kitchen. And then he just like, I could see like all the whites in his eyes, and it was like coming at me. And so I grabbed one of these knives. My mom got me for Christmas. I grabbed one of them, and I was like, I swear to God, I swear to God, it was just like, I mean, I grab and be like, don't come anywhere closer to me, because I mean, earlier that happened 2 other times. I couldn't breathe. I'm sorry, I couldn't breathe, and it's very scary. And I just think like, just like this kind of thing where I was saying like, do you know if he's okay? If he's choking me and he's angry enough, he might like, or, I mean, this is different, I think. But if he's like choking me or like pinning me or something and I can't breathe, he might go too long. So I grab a knife and I said, don't come anywhere closer to me. I had absolutely no intention of using it. I'm on the phone with my mom, and he's coming at me like he's gonna grab either the phone or like the knife or something. And so I was just like, I was like, don't come any closer. It's coming at me, and I threw it. And I meant for it to go.
How far away was he?
Well, I was by my fridge, and he was like by the edge of one of the chairs of the sofa. Like
comparing to
10 feet. I'm trying to think in my head.
Courtney claimed the argument began over stopping phone location sharing. She said Toby pinned her to the floor, and she retaliated by throwing a kitchen knife across the room, hitting him in the chest. She insisted it was self-defense, emphasizing that she threw the knife from 10 feet away, and it landed in his chest.
Well, then you were by the fridge and he was by the couch?
Yes, I was in front of the fridge. He was by the couch.
Yes, and then
behind my island.
And then what kind of movements did he make at the moment? He was going to walk
running
up?
At me.
Running? Okay.
Well, charging, aggressively walking, something.
What was he doing? Like, was he doing something with his hands, or?
He had his hands up. I couldn't tell you exactly.
Was he yelling at you at the time?
Yes.
Was that at the moment that he was charging you, or earlier in one of the arguments?
It was before he choked me. Yes, it was before he choked me. Okay. Or whatever. But I swear to God, I was scared. I mean, after like what I was scared, and I was on the phone with my mom, and it was still happening. Yeah. I was scared.
So you told me that he had you against the wall at one point, right? With his hands over your neck.
Mm-hmm.
And how did you end up from the wall to the ground?
Let me go, and then I started swinging on him because I had been against the wall. Okay. I started trying to hit him. Yeah. And then he put me on the ground.
He dropped it to them.
When I'm trying to remember like a whole situation of where I was very upset about something, which I've learned this in therapy and whatever, it's like write down like all the details so you don't forget. Just like write it all out clearly so it makes sense to you and makes sense to somebody else. but I haven't had a chance to have a pen and paper or my phone to like write down exactly what happened, and I haven't really even like fully thought about it. So honestly, my answer is I don't remember.
Okay. You guys have a history of violence?
Yeah.
You say you've been together how long? Sorry.
Almost 2 years.
Almost 2 years.
2.5 to 2 years.
So how many incidents you think you've had?
I don't know, but we shouldn't be together.
Have you made a report before?
No.
You've never made a report?
Oh, I did in Dallas actually about a year ago, and he was detained.
And what happened there?
He had pushed me in the lobby, but it wasn't like a big deal, and they made it a huge deal.
Less than a year earlier, the couple had an incident in Las Vegas. Police were called to their apartment after reports of a loud argument and glass shattering. When officers arrived, the apartment was in disarray, and Courtney's account was inconsistent.
Why did you call for help?
Because we were getting really loud. We were getting loud. And I was like, oh my God, we're gonna like do damage to the room or something. Not damage to each other. Like I really want to like.
Why would you
highlight
think?
that.
Why would you think that you were gonna do damage to the room?
I like throwing something or like.
Did you throw something?
Did I?
Yeah.
No.
Did anybody throw anything?
No.
So why would you think that there is damage to the room to be made?
Because I've done that before in our house, and I.
What have you done?
Thrown a glass and a plate.
Did you throw a glass or a plate at him today?
No.
Okay. So if
No, this was before.
Okay. So when I go to the room and I see a broken glass on the floor, where did the glass come from?
I don't know. I literally couldn't even remember how the fight started.
Okay. Well.
Was there?
Yeah.
Maybe I did. Well, I'm guessing that I threw a glass, but that sounds like me. So.
Courtney was held overnight for 12 hours, but Toby refused to press charges and urgently asked for her release. At first glance, this seemed normal, but the police concluded that Courtney had attacked Toby that night by throwing a glass at his head. They believed this wasn't the first time Courtney had behaved aggressively, as she was allegedly accustomed to throwing things at Toby. This suggested that Courtney had the capacity to assault Toby without clear provocation. Furthermore, the police had recently been in contact with the couple. Just a day before the attack, officers had been called to their apartment after a security guard raised the alarm.
But the cops have been up there one other time yesterday for absolutely no reason. Absolutely none. They harassed not the police, but security guards from the office, like young security guards. Came up for no reason. Bothered him, bothered me.
The police were called and recorded the entire incident with body cameras, which created a stark contrast to the story Courtney had told.
You call.
I didn't. Nobody.
I call. You call.
What?
Okay.
What's going on?
Okay. Hold on, man. Let him talk. Okay. Now, hold on. Okay. Go ahead. The front desk personnel, she informed us that Miss Courtney, her boyfriend, was trying to get into the elevator. And she had her hand out like this. And she was like, oh no, don't come inside the elevator. Okay. So we asked her, I said, do you want him to leave the property? She said no, she don't want him to.
I did not say that. I said yes.
Hold on.
Courtney, what's going on? What do you need? What?
Yeah, come in.
My boyfriend.
All right. So what do you want us to do?
I want a restraining order against Christian Obumseli.
We don't issue those.
Because no, I'm serious.
Court.
Can I do that? Where
You have to
can
go
I?
to court. You have to go to
Okay, but
downtown.
how can I make
petition.
myself first?
In the video, Courtney clearly shows signs of panic. She seems more concerned about getting a restraining order before Toby could do anything to her than about possibly injuring him. It's also worth noting that the building's security staff saw her push Toby out of the elevator and yell at him, with no signs of aggression coming from him. As more evidence piled up, Courtney's self-defense story began to seem increasingly questionable. But, as is often the case, everything was still just her word, and disproving her testimony would be a challenge for the detectives. After leaving her alone for nearly an hour and allowing her to change clothes, they returned to the interrogation room with new information.
So you're living in a nightmare right now.
Yeah.
You know?
I will feel so much better once they just say he's stable.
Yeah.
And I've been asking.
And that's what we're waiting for. And,
I mean, I feel like at the end, I mean, if he's not, that's a lot worse for me.
so they've asked for an update, and I asked them for an update as well, so they're checking to see what's going on. Because they're...
I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know what I will do with myself if he's not okay.
No matter
what...
I
mean, I clearly we can't be together.
No matter what happens, no matter where this falls, right, it's out of our control.
So we have to inform you that Christian did not make it. Okay. Unfortunately, the doctors did what they could, and
Christian is dead.
Yes.
Oh my God. This is not real, right? Okay. No, this is Christian died? Can I please have a hug? Am I allowed to do that in here?
Sure. Yeah.
Relax. You'll be fine.
No.
Calm down. Calm down. Deep breaths.
I need to hug my mom. I cannot be left alone in like a room by myself.
You won't be.
After this. No, that's not true. That's not real, right?
It is real.
Christian is dead.
Yes. They're not gonna lie.
The last thing he ate was Subway. What I was saying to that other room, I said, God forbid, when like from far away, what if it had accidentally hit a little bit lower and he died?
We can't change what's occurred and give him the full. So just step by step. So we'll get through this, all right?
Clearly, the detectives initially believed Courtney's self-defense story. One of them even mentioned earlier that he was certain she would be released that night and everything would be fine. As a result, it wasn't hard for her defense lawyer to argue her innocence, and she was released without charges. However, remember that the detectives didn't know about the evidence being gathered at this point. All they had was Courtney's word. As time passed, more evidence came to light, and the case against Obumseli began to become clearer. Body cam footage was released, revealing the true nature of Courtney's previous arrests. There were also more unsettling videos, like this one showing her intoxicated in public just days after being released. Everyone makes mistakes, and sometimes people overindulge. But when you're caught acting this way in public just days after crying in an interrogation room, it's hard to be seen positively. Just a few days later, a secret video found on Toby's phone revealed Courtney attacking him with harsh shouting, profanity, slapping him, and using racial slurs.
You literally talked to her without telling me!
Courtney, I was on the bike ride and she passed me and I said, hi, you and Courtney are having a live chat. My bad, I forgot to tell you that. That doesn't make you to act and call me a You're Yes, thank you. Coming from thank you.
I want you to get away from me!
For this reason and several other reports indicating Courtney's abusive behavior, she was officially sued by Toby's family. This was when the final nail in the coffin was driven in, as a forensic expert who examined Toby's body delivered his conclusion.
Now, based on the information you received that the defendant was alleged to have thrown this knife, do your observations support that?
If the person who supposedly did this is an expert knife thrower, and the knife is the type of knife that you can throw, I guess that could have happened.
Did you receive any information that the defendant was a knife thrower?
No.
So based on that fact that you did not receive that information, would it support that?
No.
And what would you expect to see a knife do if someone just flung it at somebody?
It would just hit the body and bounce off.
Now, as a result of this case, did you come to a cause, or did you make a determination as to the cause and manner of death?
Yes.
Could you please explain those to the court?
The cause of death was stab wound of right subclavian artery. The manner of death was homicide.
The investigation revealed that Toby's cause of death was a stab wound to the right subclavian artery, and the manner of death was ruled as homicide. As of April 2023, Courtney is awaiting one of the most anticipated trials in modern history. She faces a life sentence for second-degree murder with a deadly weapon. With all the evidence against her, her prospects are not looking good.